This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we're the ones who've encouraged you all along to like and share them on your favorite social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because it's time for Joanne's World of Nutrition, presented by Joanne's Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce and hosted by the one and only Joanne Seeger.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I am so excited to be here this morning, especially since I was in a little bit of a rush with traffic. Yeah, so
who hasn't been, right?
You know what's really crazy? I took the side roads for the very first time, and it really put me out of sorts from so many years of driving here one specific way and then doing a different street. It was like, wait, I can't do this with my eyes closed. I have to pay attention.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I always hit some coffee before I get behind the wheel.
All right. So, sir, I don't know about you, but I really need some breath work. Can we do a couple rounds of breath work? Can you be my mighty counter this morning?
I don't know about the mighty part, but I can just be the counter, that's for sure.
Well, welcome everyone to the show. And if you are a new listener, thank you for spending some time with me this morning. We do breath work at the beginning of each show, not only to help me focus and stop babbling, but just to really help bring inflammation down, bring oxygenation up, release some stress. And I don't care, but I think all humanity has some stress right now. So let's relax our shoulders, relax our eyebrows, a deep exhale out. Let's do 2 rounds. Two rounds, yeah. Yeah, we'll just do in for 5, out for 5 through our nose.
All right, here we go.
See, that's why I need it. I didn't even tell anyone what to do. All right.
Out with the nose. Here we go. Get ready.
So let's exhale out. Okay.
In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out 2, 3, 4, 5. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you so much.
And if you're driving,
incredible how much better I feel with just those few 20 seconds, right?
Imagine doing it for 2 hours.
Yes, and if you close your eyes, that's a key part. So when we're stressed and frustrated and impatient and angry, we tend not to want to close our eyes. So if you can just obviously, like, Cliff just mentioned, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if even at a stoplight, if you can just close your eyes for 10 seconds and just take a deep breath in, it really, really helps. And that is the premise of today's show. There are some people that do not want to buy another supplement. They do not want to swallow more pills, or they're just really looking for things that have been around for a long time that do not cost too much money. So that's what we're going to discuss today. So the topic is going to be bentonite clay, because I finally got in a new shipment of Head to Toe products, which is also known as the living clay. So I'm super excited. I have been using it, and I used to use bentonite clay back 30-something years ago. So it's not new for me, but it's kind of like, I would say, repurposed, because now there's so many people that have been using it over the last 80 years. It's thousands of years old, but people that we know and trust have been using it and are getting really miraculous, remarkable results. So I want to put it into common terms where you can use it each and every day, affordably, easily, and actually see results. Sometimes the social media really does put a spin on things that, use it once and, belly fat will disappear overnight, or, so I'm going to try to be as practical as possible with this information to make it effective. So let me put my glasses on. Okay, here we go. I can see now. All right. So the book that I'm going to mention, so if you can't spend the whole hour with me, I would love for you to check out this book. It's called Calcium Bentonite Clay, Nature's Pathway to Healing, Balance, Detox, Stimulate, and Alkalize by Perry A. Now, I actually spoke to her on the phone. She is a wonderful, wonderful woman. You like that, Cliff? Am I showing the book real
Yeah,
good?
I'm trying to get the
Trying to be a
hashtag.
photographer,
Yeah,
yes.
trying to get the
So,
hashtag.
you can talk to this woman. She's incredible. She has a couple YouTube videos, a couple podcasts. She is really incredible. She dedicated her life to bentonite clay, I'm going to say. She just sold the company to another gentleman, a gentleman that is incredibly knowledgeable and also a wealth of information as well. So if you call the company directly, Head to Toe Products, or you speak to Perry, again, really humble, down to earth people. You can tell they're dealing with clay, right? And just this book is incredible. So I usually don't like reading many things on the show because it just to me, oh, it sounds so boring when someone reads on a show. But I do want to mention that she does references, like biblical references, hundreds of them, it looks like, where it talks about mentioning using clay. So it does go back even further in ancient times, and she does mention that as well. But in her book, it will go from anything from let's start at the A. So it's so wonderful. The beginning of the book talks about the history of the bentonite clay and all the different forms and how it's used. And then by page 56, it starts with alcoholism. And then it goes all the way to, oh my God, there's so many. Let me see if I can find Z. It goes all the way to page like 160, and then it ends with skin tumor on arms. So you can see right there, like what an incredible reference this book is to have. So whether it be alcoholism, allergies, anemia, acid reflux, blood pressure, breast health, bunions, burns, cancer, cellulite, cirrhosis of the liver, let's see, cysts, dandruff, depression, detoxification, and that's the common one. If you really scroll social media or YouTube, you mainly see using bentonite clay for detoxification. It's been famous in my circles for many years, but there's so much more to it. Diaper rash, they actually sell a, a natural baby powder that is pretty much just clay instead of the real toxic cancer causing baby powders. And if anyone's had a baby that has a diaper rash, that looks so painful, and you never want to see a little one with a diaper rash. But unfortunately, with prostate cancer being so common as well right now, they also get rashes and the very tender tissue where it's difficult for them to walk or even sit with their legs together. So this could help with that as well. I just kind of thought of that one. But if you've ever seen someone suffer with radiation for prostate, it's difficult for them as well. There is for flatulence. So if anyone has some smelly gas, okay, fractures, fungus, gluten intolerance, gingivitis, hair loss, hangover. Oh, that's interesting. Heart health, hemorrhoids, hepatitis, herpes, hyperthyroidism, indigestions, insomnia, ingrown hairs, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, itchy skin, itchy scalp, kidney stones. I don't even know what this one is. Lipofuscin abnormalities. Oh, you know what that is? Holy moly, I should know what this is. Can you even guess, Cliff, what that word means? Lipofuscin abnormalities.
Well, there've been some recent news reports in the area about Botox and stuff.
Really? Well, you know what it actually means? Lipofuscin abnormalities? Liver spots.
Liver
I
spots.
had no idea that was the official name for it as I'm looking at my arms going, okay, I'm definitely gonna, well, I am using the bentonite, but now I'm gonna use even more.
Is there a difference
So
between liver spots and maybe just
bruising.
real thin
It is
blood, blood thinners.
actually, it is, and I'm going to talk about that because that's very common. A lot of people, when their skin gets thinner and they're bruising easily, it is get a little confusing between what's a liver spot, age spot, or the bruise itself. So we'll talk about that. And then liver cleanse. Again, liver cleanse is the second most famous part of the calcium bentonite story. Obviously, just like detoxification, the liver, you want to clean that out to get the body clean. Lyme's disease, lymph glands, mercury toxicity, staph infection, sensitivities in general, like I'm real sensitive to fragrances, so it helps with that. Muscle soreness. Oh my gosh. Osteoporosis, pH balance, that's another one it's famous for because, as everyone can imagine, calcium bentonite clay maintains a perfect pH. It's pretty much 7.0 to 7.35. And for my regular listeners, know that I have Bert on every month, and he's like the king of explaining the pH balance and how to obtain that. Calcium clay is incredible for that as well. Pink eye, conjunctivitis, prostate health, stomach ulcers, toenail fungus, autism. Okay. And now I'm going to stop at this one because at the end of the book, it gives testimonials and how each client used it. Now, I think that might be her way of being legal because, like, when you talk about stories, you have to be very careful not to make medical claims, especially when you're not a doctor, which obviously everyone knows I'm not. But I love telling stories about my customers. If they follow a suggestion and they get an amazing result, I'm the first one to tell the next customer because when you share those stories, then it can inspire, motivate, and guide someone. And you're not, again, making a medical claim. So I love these stories. And they all are, again, it's not like miraculous where you think that it's just a bunch of, nonsense. It really sounds logical and practical and doable. I love that because it's doable. Another thing I want to mention, we've been seeing a lot of spiders lately. We are, in Florida, Treasure Coast, a lot of rain's been coming, but my husband was trying to find out like what type of spiders are these? And in Florida, the brown recluse, is that how you say it, is popular.
There's a brown recluse spider. It's kind of small, but
Would it be like the size of a nickel?
I don't think it'll be that big, but it could get up to close to that size. I've seen them like on wood piles or on the sides of houses outside. They lay flat.
Okay.
Now, my encounter with them one time was I was pulling vines out of an oak tree, and these little tiny spiders were like parachutes. They were coming off the vine, and they were floating down to the ground where they were looking around. Now, at least one of them landed on me, and I did get a very horrible infection from it.
How long did the infection last?
Oh, my. It wasn't very long. It was in a few days. It was quite dark. When they lanced it, it took about probably 8 weeks to heal it up. I had to get it packed.
Oh my gosh.
It was.
Well, I am sorry you went through that, but that caught again the clay's attention for me because when we were looking at spiders, just in case, we had the clay prepared because they say there's amazing testimonials that if you put the clay on it immediately, it draws out the poison.
That makes sense,
and has the healing happen in 2 to 3 days.
Wow.
Right? Versus 8 weeks and without an emergency room visit, to me,
without all that aftercare from the outpatient area.
Exactly. So burns, foot injuries, all this good stuff.
Now, you've heard about the spiders in the news. They're talking about big spiders migrating to the East Coast. Those are your garden variety spiders, and you'll see banana spiders like you see in orange groves.
Right.
And you'll see the beautiful garden spiders that are black, yellow, and white with a round belly. Those they're harmless. They're garden spiders. They're wonderful to have in your yard. You can watch them.
Really? Well, it's because I know they eat mosquitoes.
Yep.
So I know in Florida we want as many mosquitoes eaten as possible. So without those toxic trucks coming by and gassing us.
And whether they eat them or not, they catch them and they tie them up in their web and they store them there for
Wow, we have to do a whole show on spiders.
Oh,
A
we
little
could.
creepy.
Arachnoids.
But it's true. When you see like the colors, you automatically assume that they're dangerous. But you're
Right.
saying for this case,
Hmm.
that one isn't. And yeah, the brown recluse is just a
Yeah.
simple muted brown.
Yeah, and you won't
So,
find them in a web of sorts either. So they kind
oh,
of isolate themselves. That's why they're called recluse, because you don't find them like other spiders in a web, although they might have one like
they're
under
hiding.
some board
All
somewhere.
right, I'm getting a little creeped out now.
Enough,
I
enough
had to
about the
think of
spiders.
flowers and butterflies now. Flowers and butterflies. All right. So calcium bentonite clay. So the one I'm going to reference, and of course I have it at the store, okay, is Head to Toe Products, also known as living clay. So what's incredible is this is coming from volcanic ash. I think that's the trick right there. Like people know that I mention ion gut health all the time,
Hmm.
and that one 40 million years ago, this sediment that is just miraculous, right? And so same thing with calcium bentonite clay. This goes back millions of years ago, and this sediment is incredible because it's full of nutrients, but it also has pulling and detoxification properties. So they call that absorption and absorption properties. So it will pull out like things like heavy metals, which are really difficult to come out of the body. Bert mentioned on the last show that in autopsies, they're finding cadmium from brake dust by the pounds in the human body, where we're not supposed to have more than, say, an eighth of a pound, and we're having like 2 pounds. And there are so many other heavy metals that a tiny bit here and there will not affect us. Our body can adapt and adjust. But when you start getting lead, mercury, arsenic, and then glyphosate on top of that with the cadmium, your body is overwhelmed. And again, it's incredible what the body can do. But if the balance is off and you have more poisons in versus the tools needed to regenerate and rejuvenate, then you're going to have some situations. So the clay is a perfect thing to add in to your diet. Yes, you heard me right. Your diet, not just a face mask, to enrich your body with nutrients like calcium, magnesium, potassium, and take out the heavy metals, poisons, fungicides, herbicides, the glyphosate, the things that don't belong. And then the next question should be, well, how does the clay know what to pull out? What's bad and what's good? Well, that's just like how my ion foot detox works. It works by its magnetism. So when in nature, negative ions are the good guys. That's the things that, even though I wish that they were called positive ions, but they're called negative. Those are the good things, right? And then the positive ion charged things are normally those heavy metals and things that don't belong. And so it just magnetizes to it, and its surface area is huge, okay? And it just absorbs it like a sponge to help it remove it from the body. Now, I'm sure a scientist can explain it a little bit better than I can, but in practical terms, through the mouth to the anus, if you swallow a spoonful, okay, and you take the powder and you make it into a liquid, some people call it a gel, then you drink it, and that will absorb anything from the mouth all the way down, okay, but not outside of what they call the tube. So from the mouth to the anus, it's going to absorb anything that doesn't belong, and it's also going to put back into the system the calcium, the magnesium, potassium, critical nutrients in the most absorbable form to enrich every system. Like magnesium alone has, hundreds of different mechanisms in the body. I used to say 300, but I was corrected recently that it's more like 900, if not more. We're learning more and more every day about these vital nutrients, especially minerals. So What's really cool, we have a lot of cattle ranchers around here in these parts. And some of my customers, when they saw the clay or heard me discussing it, they were like, Joanne, I've been using it with my cattle for years. And it's great for them. It helps them get rid of parasites and it helps them, with worms. It helps them get more minerals so they have stronger, hooves and hides and healthier meat, right? So that's incredible. And what do I always say? Vets and arborists usually know more than we do for the human body. So we want to nourish our body with lots of minerals and we want to detox as much as possible in a safe way so the body can just do what it was meant to do. So here's some ways that we're using it that's really easy. But again, the book talks about hundreds of different ways to use the bentonite clay. So the first one would be to use it as a mask. That's the most common one, goes back to ancient times. I always think of Cleopatra, and you're just taking, a few tablespoons of the clay. Now you want to be careful about what materials you use with the calcium bentonite clay. For instance, I bought on Amazon some wooden spoons. They do say the wooden spoons are the best because they do so because oh my gosh, calcium bentonite clay has a certain charge. You don't want to put metal spoons when you're working with it. Now, 30 years ago, I didn't know this. I always used a metal spoon to mix my concoctions. I always felt like they were still effective. So just so you know, if you've been using metal and you didn't know the information, no big deal. But wooden spoons are cute, affordable, and that way you don't have to worry about the metal. And then a glass or ceramic bowl would be best to mix it in. So if you put the clay in the bottom of the bowl, a few tablespoons, and then trickle some water, I would suggest a distilled or filtered water, and then trickle it in and keep stirring it until it gets to like a mayonnaise-like consistency. And then you can put a mask anywhere head to toe. So if you want to just do a facial mask or your neck region or your chest area or the whole body, like you see in those fancy spas where they charge you $300 for, a detox clay mask, you can do it for about $2. So there you go. And this works great if you have a bathtub. So you can start with like a sitz bath type of volume, just a little bit. So as your mask starts drying, and then start filling up the bath. And that way you can get that experience even last longer, because here's the advantage. Where I mentioned if you drink the clay, it's only working on the poisons and the toxins and the heavy metals that are from mouth to anus. If you do the mask or a bath with it, now you're removing the impurities from the liver region, from the lymphatic, from the plasma, because then the skin being the largest organ, it's going to pull from everywhere. Excuse me. So that's what I think of. So if you do have a bathtub and you really want to have a thorough detox, you make that mask, and obviously larger volume if you're going to do more areas of the body, and then sit in that nice warm bath. And then as you're running the water over, you're going to get a double advantage. So the one thing too is there are a lot of people that are really into the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system is crucial to our health. It gets overwhelmed easily because it's depending on us for our lifestyle choices to really clean it. Yes, the lungs and things that pump that lymphatic really do help it, but it really depends on us being active and moving. And most of us right now are not moving as much as we should be. So when you're in the bathtub, some lymphatic professionals will suggest like doing slight pressure on the extremities to help that clay do its job, move that lymphatic system. Some people will suggest like, using hand motions for circular motions or a light face cloth. You can go crazy. You're in a bath. You don't have to overcomplicate it, but it feels so wonderful. Your skin feels softer right away. It feels clean. Now, the person that wrote the book, Perry, suggests that you do not rinse afterwards. Well, my last clay bath, I got so excited that I was just laying completely immersed in the clay. It, and so I didn't rinse. I just like some splash because I only had about a half a cup of clay in total in the whole bathtub. So it wasn't like heavy duty clay. But that day, my hair felt a little unique, not rinsing it completely out. It was really curly, though, and looked really thick, which I thought that was very interesting that my curls were enhanced just by this clay, where you would think it would weigh down the hair, but no, it was very thick and curly. So just to put for the people that have longer hair, if you're not rinsing, you might want to lightly rinse your hair. But it does feel really cool. The clay will get a little bit on your towel, obviously, if you're not rinsing completely, but it does come out in the wash, so it won't stain your towels. But it's incredible. So if you do not have a bathtub and you want to get that full detoxification process, no big deal. You take a sheet and you just put it on your bed or on a couch. And again, if you're alone in a bedroom and you just lay down with the mask all over you and you wait till it comfortably dries, because as clay dries, it can feel a little uncomfortable, especially on the face. You feel so tight. And then shower it off like a room warm temperature shower or a little cooler, not hot. Some people believe that heat is best for the water temperature for detox. That's absolutely not true. It's a stressor on the body. So hormetics, stressing your body on purpose with cold and hot, that's a whole different conversation, but I wouldn't use it for this clay time. Just a nice warm shower to rinse off. There are some comments that I have heard about what about plumbing and using the clay often. She does claim that if you dilute it with enough water, then there's no problem. And I hope that's true because I'm absolutely loving it and want to take more baths. But the baths or the full body mask are only necessary once or twice a week to get this detoxification. And that makes sense to me. The body knows what to do, so you just are taking an excess burden off of it. So you're just assisting it a little bit. Wow, this time is going fast. All right, let's just take a quick break, sir. And then when we come back, I'm going to touch a little bit more on the clay, on how to mix it up if you want to drink it. And then we're also going to talk about castor oil. So just stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Going to stop you from voting.
Hi, this is Joanne from Nutrition World and Wellness Center. I am really excited to introduce new guests and topics to my show every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. here on WPSL, where my listeners can call in on any topic. If I don't know the answer, I'll try to find it. We want to help you become the best version of yourself. We'll have naturopaths, coaches. I am looking forward to sharing my years of experience with my listeners so we can enjoy this life journey together.
Visit Joanne's Nutrition World in the Kras Square, formerly known as the Arcade Building, located at US 1 and Orange Avenue, across from Fort Pierce City Hall. Open Monday through Friday from 10 to 4, Saturdays 10 to 3. Taking appointments for the Wellness Center online at joannesnutritionworld.com or call 772-464-3598. Join Joanne Seeger as she guides the Treasure Coast to health, one person at a time, on Joanne's World of Nutrition, Wednesday mornings at 10 on WPSL.
I am so excited to share with all my listeners all the cutting-edge health topics of today. I look forward to hearing from you. Remember, it's a live call-in show. Any questions you have on health and nutrition, I look forward to answering.
Join us here for Joanne's World of Nutrition every Wednesday morning at 10 on WPSL.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
We now return to Joanne's World of Nutrition. Once again, here's your host, Joanne Seeger.
Hi again, everyone. Thank you for spending some time with me this morning. We are talking about calcium bentonite clay, the coolest clay on Earth, from volcanic ash, full of minerals and the capability of pulling out things that do not belong in the body. And it's really hard to detox sometimes. Every time that I've tried with herbals and different formulas, it usually works the colon system and it's not pleasant, or you feel headaches or just detox symptoms. And with the calcium bentonite clay, it is incredible because you feel nourished, you feel strong, you do not feel weak and headachy. And if you do, you've definitely did too much, okay? So with anything that you detox from, like I remember when I used the Positive Power Super Silica the first time, I got so excited about the benefits, and I was stupidly thinking, oh, more is better. And I went into detox, and my husband did too, because we took the same amount. We were like, gosh, why do we have this weakness and headache? And then I was like, oh boy, we overdid it. So there is that that little fine line, but if you cross it with these type of things, what I love, it's not causing any liver distress and kidney distress. You just back off and you drink more water and you're good to go. So we are discussing again calcium bentonite clay, Nature's Pathway to Healing by Perry A. They have head to toe clay products, and I don't know about a website for the book. Gosh, yeah, they're real old school. So if I find it out, or I know my husband's listening, but there is one, the forward author, she mentions her website, which is www.restoremethod.com. And I don't think Perry has, okay, let's try this one. www.theclaybook.com. Well, that's really simple. Yep, so I think that's to order her book, but I'm not sure if there's information on there as well. So yeah, definitely check that out. Yeah, she's just an incredible woman and would love to have conversations with people. And she's going to be on my radio show soon. We're going to arrange that come fall. All right, so the next topic is castor oil. So I have to also admit, I've been using castor oil for about 40 years. It's incredible. When it first came out on social media, especially TikTok, I was just like going a little crazy. It's like, gosh, they're really exaggerating things and they're just putting this miraculous spin on it. But I have been researching it, and honestly, they were not exaggerating. They were not. And Barbara O'Neill, who I really love, I just can hang on her every word. I feel like her and I have so many things that we talk about that are the same. I just really love her. And so she also talks about castor oil and its amazing uses. But castor oil is getting famous now for things like my husband uses it for eye damage, for helping improve vision health, helping with your eyelashes, but it goes even further than that. That castor oil bean, when it is pressed, it makes this beautiful oil that, again, just like the clay, goes back to ancient times. they can find text about castor oil in all ancient civilizations. I think that's really cool. So there's been use, the most common use that I was aware of back 40 years ago was making it as a compress and using it to relieve what you might call liver stagnation, or if you have like scar tissues and adhesions. So that is where it came into my life. But they say that you can use it now. Like Barbara O'Neill will say that if clients come into her wellness center, that they will use it for tumors in the breast, tumors in the colon, and she'll talk about exactly the patients and how long it took and how long they applied the castor oil pack. Some people, like I was taught, that it has to be a minimum of 40 minutes. And now I hear that you can do it, you can sleep with it. So that's not as convenient as I think it sounds, because everyone's like, yes, I'll sleep with it. That sounds great. But I don't know about my listeners, but I move when I sleep. I'm definitely a side sleeper and I flip sides. So a castor oil pack on my belly, that would get really messy and uncomfortable. So I love the idea of it, but I have actually tried it and it's not so great. Now, there is a famous woman who is a natural doctor. I think her title is functional medicine doctor, but or naturopath. But she is called the Queen of Thrones, and her video is incredible on YouTube. She has many of them, but she makes products on Amazon that are castor oil packs for eyes and throat and for the liver region, because most castor oil experts agree that the most important place to put it is on, did I just say left side? Right side. Your right side, and you basically want to contain that castor oil because it does get messy and it can stain your sheets or your clothing if it seeps out. So these Queen of Throne products, if you check them out, they're a little pricey, but if they last a long time, years, then it's definitely worth the money, and they definitely look better than what I was using. The wool flannel is very messy. You have to find something to put on top of that, and then you have to wear something around your body to kind of encompass it so it stays, contained. It's a lot. So the Queen of Throne products, I'm definitely going to give them a thumbs up. Definitely worth the money in my opinion. But if you do not want to spend the money on her formal packs, then this is all you have to do. You want to buy organic castor oil that is in glass bottles. That is what I have on my shelf. There are really good quality brands that are still using plastic, but because glass is available, why not do the glass? It's affordable. They come in different sizes, so you might as well just buy the glass bottles. Organic, definitely, but if it's for inside the eye, my husband lives on the edge of adrenaline. But so he puts the organic one in his eyes. But I am telling you that if you look at all the medical information, they are going to say that's not a good idea, that you want to do a sterile castor oil for eye drops, which is available online as well. So around the eye, on the skin is fine. Any other method other than inside the eyes for the castor oil. So you want, again, a glass amber bottle, organic. Heritage Store is a famous brand. I believe Edgar Casey made castor oil famous for our day, and he's the one that has the product that we carry at our store. So then he also makes wool flannel. Obviously, you can buy wool flannel anywhere, but his is like the perfect size for the castor oil packs. So you take the castor oil, you put a little bit on the middle of the wool flannel. Now the flannel can open up, so if you want to do your whole lower abdomen, you want to cover the whole intestinal tract, the liver, the gallbladder, everything that really matters between the pelvic floor and the rib cage, go ahead. You can use that whole thing opens up. but it can get really messy. So my suggestion is just open it halfway up, make a line in the middle of it with the castor oil, and that put that in the belly button lineup. So the center of the wool flannel will line up right with your belly button. Now that was one of the ones that I kind of like rolled my eyes at, because on TikTok they were saying, put it on the belly button and these miracles occur. Well, yes, the belly button has such significance. I mean, that's our connection to our mother. That's where all the nutrients are going to flow from. So there is legitimacy there. But again, it's not like you're going to do this one night and the next day you're 20 pounds less and, all your bumps and bruises and everything miraculously goes away. It takes time and patience. So you just put this on. Now, I was taught once again to put a warming, like either a hot water bottle or a heating pad on top of the wool flannel to really concentrate it in. Some of the experts today say that's not necessary. I find that very convenient because it is really warm that when you have that hot water heating pad on top, or the pressure of the hot water bottle, it's a little bit too much after 20 minutes. It feels very hot. So if you can get all the great action without that heat aspect, I love that idea and I'm willing to give that a try. But I personally have an experience with scar tissue adhesions, and the castor oil pack did break them up with the help, just to know, so everyone knows, just with proteolytic enzymes. So I didn't do it just with castor oil packs. I took proteolytic enzymes, the wob enzyme, with the castor oil pack, and it was miraculous. I had, unfortunately, emergency abdominal surgeries, 5 pretty much in a row, and they it was all everyone asked me because it's like, well, what happened? It was all about baby stuff, all about having babies, and so they're it was really incredible. Like, I could feel so much scar tissue adhesions, and then it literally just, the touch, it just started changing, and it's like the fluidity, and they just literally disappeared. So I don't know if I can give all the credit to the castor oil pack, but I definitely know it was a lot of it. And based on the information today, they don't mention any proteolytic enzymes in removing scar tissue adhesions with castor oil pack. So maybe it was just the castor oil pack that did all the magic. I really will never know, but it was incredible. Okay, so castor oil is also incredible, okay, for wrinkles, blemishes, acne, and again, I told people that it was too heavy for the face and not to use it on the face for many years, and I was absolutely wrong. So if you take a tiny bit and you rub it between your fingertips, again, creating some heat, it will smooth over on the face just fine, especially near the eyes. And I have seen before and afters, and it's incredible for wrinkles, brown spots. So I'm going to get right on that. And so next time you see me, I'll just look 20 years younger. But how incredible that is. I mean, the fact that skin creams can cost hundreds of dollars and they usually don't deliver what they promise. Castor oil is pennies, and it will help nourish your skin with these fatty acids that are so vital. And they also they're a composition of every single cell. And when those cells use those fatty acids, it's a protection, like an antioxidant, an anti-inflammatory. It's helping every one of your trillion cells to be the best version of itself. And so that's the difference between just stopping the appearance of a wrinkle and reworking the system that's causing so much oxidative stress that we're wearing it on our skin. So it's helping take away that oxidative stress from the skin and helping give it nutrients and fatty acids to help it recover and make a better skin cell for the next time. Now, there's also, again, eyelash growth, hair growth, stopping of dandruff, kind of like some of the things I mentioned about the clay earlier. It's the castor oil has that same list. You can go on, but it's most famous for detoxification of the liver. Some people will say that for chronic constipation, there's nothing better than the castor oil, but you do not have to drink it. You can just put it on your lower bowels. You don't feel like going to buy the wool flannel or the pack, no big deal. Take a little, rub it in your hands, and apply it below your belly button for the intestinal region. And especially if you go for, some people don't understand how far down their large colon is. So you want to really rub it low, very close to your pelvic floor. And then it will help relieve the constipation without giving you severe cramps. Some people that take it internally really have told me some horror stories where they get cramping. And midwives to this day still give it when they really want to get a birth going. So just, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of all the other things for the castor oil. So the skin, the acne, and you can apply for the acne. You don't have to do the whole face. You can actually apply it just on the actual pimple or cystic area. You can apply it directly on it. Barbara O'Neill always suggests packs because she believes that you want as much to penetrate into the skin as possible on its own timing. That's what I love about her. She'll always practice on the side of caution, like let the body take it in when it's ready. So if you make a pack and you have all this volume of castor oil outside the area that needs to be treated, the skin is going to absorb it when it's ready, slowly, steadily. But for a matter of time, practicality, at least try to put a little bit on the area that's cystic or the acne to see if it calms down that inflammation and detoxifies that pore to give you cleaner, healthier, clearer skin. I sound like a dermatology commercial. All right. The next one is under your armpits. So under your armpits, you have tons of lymph nodes. Everyone knows that we usually have to use deodorant or else there's odor, or when we sweat there, it can get really crazy smelly. Okay. Most of my listeners I know are using natural deodorants because that's a healthier way to go without the chemicals, especially the aluminum. But if you try castor oil, either as a mask or a moisturizer in your armpits, it helps speed up lymphatic cleansing. So this is really important. So the lymphatic system, just like how the clay works, it will help purge the lymph nodes to detox all the poisons that are in the body that are just kind of being stored because it doesn't want to put the poisons back into the bloodstream. So the body, again, miraculous, will store things where it needs to be stored to protect us. But if it gets too much of a toxic burden, you'll start seeing the symptoms like lethargy, acid reflux, so many things. And the Queen of Thrones, if you look up her video, wow, what a testimonial she had. She just really said her chronic fatigue was so bad that she couldn't complete school right away. She was bedridden. And the only thing she used, no supplementation, was just the castor oil because she kind of honestly gave up on everything. And the castor oil really changed her life. And I think that's why she's so famous. It's sometimes you identify with people that had a struggle and use something to overcome it. So I have my scar tissue adhesion story. She has hers. I think it was also Lyme's disease with the chronic fatigue. Epstein-Barr virus. That's what she had. So just if any of these words are kind of calling out to you, look up these people. They're so inspirational and motivating. And it's just using castor oil. So the lymphatic system, again, head to toe, toe. This system is regulating our immune system, our purification of our body. It loves working with the lungs to help move it. So you can just put the castor oil on your chest, okay, to help under your armpits. You can rub it in. You can do the compress, but it's really, really effective. And I just realized I forgot to mention how to make the calcium bentonite clay as a drink. So people now are blending it to be most effective. I don't like using the blender, even though there's YouTube videos on and on about using it in the blender. The only reason why I say this is because the blades of my blender are metal. And now that I know the information that metal interacts with the ion exchange of the clay, I make my husband do all the work. I have him do it in a bottle that he can shake. So we bought this really cool glass bottle and with a glass top, because you want to make sure that whatever mason jar or container or bottle you use has no metal top. And you put just about 2 tablespoons on the bottom. You fill it with the clean water and you shake and you shake and you shake. And it becomes like a gel that is easy to drink. Now, we got our daughter to drink it, the 15-year-old. So if we can get her to drink it, anyone can drink this.
15-year-olds, they go, they make noises like, ew.
Yeah. Well, she had a little bout of acid reflux. It works in 5 seconds. Now, online, they'll tell you 10 seconds, but I've seen firsthand 5 seconds, almost from the instant you swallow it. Like, how incredible. You wake up at 2 a.m., you think like something's wrong. Oh my gosh. Swallow a little bit of this clay. You can keep it shelf stable, but you give it a good shake each time. And don't make too much beforehand, because it will get thicker and thicker, obviously. But if that happens, no big deal. Then you put a mask on your body. But it tastes great. I mean, it really doesn't have a flavor. It's fine. And you start with like 1 teaspoon, and then you could work to 2 teaspoons. And again, slowly and gradually. But the book does explain all the different recipes and how much to take. So again, I am speaking about the calcium bentonite clay. That's Head to Toe Products, also was known as living clay. It's from volcanic ash, so that's different than green clay and other types of clay. So I just want to be clear, that's the one I'm talking about, drinking internally. Great when you feel like IBS symptoms are creating such, or loose bowels, diarrhea or loose bowels. Drinking the clay is incredible for that. And again, just a little bit, but shake that bottle really good and look into glass bottles. And they do also have the mason jars that have the lids that are plastic instead of metal. So you can also check that out. Whew, I try to get in all I can. So again, look into calcium bentonite clay and castor oil. And for any Nutrition Smart customers, I'm sure you realize that your store is closing, and I'm so sorry about that. I worked with them for about 9 years before I bought my business, and great store. We are doing free shipping to help you out. Just call the store. We'll get whatever you need. If I don't carry it, I'll bring it in. I don't want to leave you guys hanging. We have the 20% off right now for us locals. So whatever I can do to help, call the store, 464-3598. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Joanne's World of Nutrition with archives on